So welcome back to another episode of Learn and Speak, Talk the Talk podcast. Today we have a special guest, a little bit of a backstory. So 5 years ago, Jansu and I walked into a hospital. Our friends had just given birth to their first child, and we're asking the nurse for the room number. And we said, what is the room number for the Kerns? And she looked kind of puzzled. And then I think Jansu said it again, like the Kerns. And there was a little bit of confusion. So we wrote down the name. And the nurse said, oh, the Kerns. So pronunciation is important. But the father of that child, I met his father maybe a year later. And after talking to him about his life, I decided to invite him to the podcast. And what's fascinating about his story, he was born in the 1940s, and he might just be the first German high school student who went on an exchange program to England in the late 50s. So we hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you. Today we welcome our first guest of 2022. I met him years ago. When did we first meet?
2 or 3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
We met at a steakhouse here in Dessau, Nord. And I remember being so impressed by your language skills and the relationship that... not our relationship, but your son has become one of my good friends here in Germany. And he invited me and my partner. I think Oljai wasn't here then. And we had a nice dinner and we talked about your life, your biography. And I was like, wow, this guy is so fascinating. So I wanted to invite you to the podcast today. So today we welcome Dr. Conrad Kern, the first guest of 2022. Before we start, thank you so much for coming.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. So, to start this conversation off, can you tell us a little bit about your background, your biography?
You mean what precisely?
Like where you're from and where you grew up, when you were born.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was born in 1946, shortly after the war.
Okay.
And I have 6 brothers and sisters.
Okay, that's a large family.
Yes, that's a large family.
Was that normal at the time?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, I was born in the Black Forest.
Okay.
And I grew up in the Black Forest. I went to school there as well.
So for those listeners who may not know where the Black Forest is, because I also confuse Bavaria and the Black Forest, is it the same region or is it different?
Completely different.
Okay, good.
It's located in the south west corner of Germany.
Okay.
Basel is a city, the Swiss city of Basel.
Okay.
Is close to the Black Forest.
Okay.
And the Rhine runs, coming from the Lake of Constance to Basel, terminating the Black Forest to the south. And then the Rhine turns to the north, near Basel.
Okay.
And it terminates the Black Forest then to the west.
Okay.
And in that corner, the Black Forest, I was born.
So why do they call it the Black Forest? Is it dark? Like, is it because of the trees or?
It is because of the trees.
Okay.
They are not, I cannot remember the English word. They had no leaves, but needles. The trees.
Okay.
Mainly needles.
So are they pine trees?
Yes.
Okay. Because the needles fall down?
No.
Okay.
They stay.
Ah,
They
so
stay.
So maybe it's not pine trees. Do they have pine cones, like the cones?
Yes, but they are hanging, not standing upwards. Mainly.
Interesting.
That's the type of tree.
So it's a variant of a pine tree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I can see that. Like, they're not letting in a lot of sunlight.
Yes.
It's darker. Is this where all of the, like the children's stories take place, like Hansel and Gretel and like, you know, the Grimm book, the Grimm brothers?
I see. Well,
Like,
the Grimm brothers come from northern Germany.
Okay.
Germany, if I'm really informed.
okay.
But well, it's a little bit of a lonely and poor region,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
No, not much industry,
Mm-hmm.
wood industry mainly,
Okay.
and earlier the people cut down the trees and floated it by the Rhine,
Okay.
where they could build into ships or make
Okay.
ships from.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, you said like, so what did your mother and father, like, what did they do for work? Were they in the timber industry?
No,
Okay.
no. My father, actually, they don't come from a Black Forest.
Okay.
My father was a judge,
Uh-huh.
the judge of the court in TTC Neustadt,
Okay.
and my mother was a nurse,
Mm-hmm.
and she came from Württemberg, north of Stuttgart,
Okay.
and they met in Heidelberg.
Seriously.
Yes,
Interesting.
and my father got after the war. Judges were rare, you know, because people had done very bad things,
Mm-hmm.
and even or as the judges as well. And my father was completely clean,
Okay.
and for that he got the post of the judge in Germany. And they moved to Neustadt,
Mhm.
where I was born,
Mm-hmm.
and we lived for the first couple of years. We lived in the court building.
Really?
Yes, not very impressive. Not very impressive.
No, then your father, he had to walk 2 meters to go to work.
Yes, a pair of stairs down. That was all.
So, what kind of would he reside over all different types of court cases, from like
There's-
criminal court cases to?
Yes.
Okay.
So he had to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
There was only one judge at that time
Mhm.
at Neustadt, and he had to do everything.
Okay.
Civil things,
Mhm.
if you owe money to me and you don't pay it,
Right.
and things like that.
Okay.
And criminal things, traffic
Traffic
things,
violations.
everything.
Interesting.
The traffic was not much at
Okay.
that time. So, but he had to do everything.
Okay.
So-
So that's interesting. So so you said that you had 6 brothers and 6 sisters.
No, I said I have 2 brothers and 4 sisters. We are
Okay, I misunderstood that.
okay.
Okay.
No,
So
we were 7.
okay, 7 people total. And your mother was a nurse.
Mhm.
Did she work in a hospital?
No, she didn't work anymore.
Okay.
I think having many children
Mhm.
is work enough, actually.
Okay.
It
So
was-
she raised all the kids.
Pardon?
She raised all of you.
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about. Again, I told you the first time I met you, I was impressed because of your language skills.
Yes.
Right? And I was thinking, I didn't want to ask your age. That would be inappropriate at the restaurant. But I'm thinking, where did this guy learn English?
Okay.
Do you remember going to school?
Yes.
All right. Tell us about your school education.
You start with a primary school.
Mm-hmm.
The lines of my comrades
Mm-hmm.
and separated after 4 years.
Okay.
Most of them stayed at the elementary school and finished school with after 8 school years.
Okay.
And then they got to work.
Okay.
So they learned a job where you worked with your hands.
A skill.
A skill.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and some of my colleagues went together with me to the high school.
Or gymnasium.
Or gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yes. And at that moment, you started learning a foreign language. That means after I had spent 4 years in the elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
the high school, we were the first course in that high school learning English as a first language.
Okay.
My father was a little bit disappointed because he said, yes, he was disappointed.
That's okay.
Because we were living very close to France.
Ah.
So it was easy to go to France,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of some 60 kilometers
Okay.
To go by car, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought it might be better to learn the language of our nearest neighbors.
True. That makes sense.
Yes, of course, it made sense.
Were they teaching French in your school?
Yes, but they stopped in the classes before me.
Okay.
They learned French as a first foreign language,
Mm-hmm.
and they switched over to English with my class.
Okay, so this is like a curriculum decision.
Yeah.
Like whoever is in charge of the educational board, they
Yes.
said, okay, we're going to put English
Yes,
first. Okay.
they started with the English.
Okay. So how old are you when you're taking your first English course?
10?
Okay. Did you know anything about English before? Had you had any exposure to the language?
No, nothing at all.
No TV, no radio?
No. Nothing at all.
Did you have a television in the courthouse?
Surely not.
Okay.
Not at that time.
Okay.
Nobody had a TV. The people didn't have
Television.
and television, and you had no broadcasting.
Ah.
That is missing, and no cables and nothing.
Radio?
Yes, of course,
Okay.
but bad radios.
Okay.
The radios nowadays is much better.
Okay. Interesting. So you're 10 years old.
Yes.
Do you remember your first English teacher?
Yes. It was. First of all, I thought the British or English people would have other writing.
Okay.
So my father said, "Okay, I don't like to learn another writing."
Yeah, you got to learn a new alphabet.
Yes, for instance, like the Chinese, they have a completely different. I expected something like that.
Okay.
But that was not the true. It was not true.
Yeah,
So-
it's the Latin alphabet, right? So
Yes. But the difficulty of languages is, of course, you have to learn words.
yeah, that's
You have to
true.
learn words.
Yeah.
And I must admit that I was not, in the beginning, I was not so busy to learn
Okay.
words. So
Was it not that interesting, or you were just like, why do I need this? What am I going to do with this? I mean, you're 10 years old.
Yes,
What-
of course.
Okay.
Yes, of course. But nevertheless, it took some time till I found my position in the school.
Okay.
I mean, which mean what was interesting for me.
Okay.
No? And I must admit that more interesting for me was mathematics.
Mm-hmm.
After all, physics, chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Hard sciences.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that was more interesting for me. But and you must you cannot be, or at least I couldn't be overall good in all subjects.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had a basic, inside some courses where I hadn't to work much because I was pleased to do it. Mathematics, for instance.
Yeah. Yeah, the subjects that you like, of course you're going to work harder, excel, stronger. Yeah, the subjects that you don't like, you struggle with, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But it took some time, and finally I realized that I have to learn the languages, if I like it or not, and then I put my effort into learning languages.
Okay. Well, at this time, you're also learning German in school. Did you like the German language courses?
No, not really.
Okay.
No, not really. So I was...
So you're like liberal arts, social sciences, no? Hard sciences, let's go. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the way I started in the school. And that went about 6 years.
Okay.
And then I increased my effort learning English.
What was the motivation for increasing that effort? Was it university?
No, that was a girlfriend I had.
Okay.
She was impressed. She asked me once when I got a mathematics work back.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me which note I got, and that the range of notes was between 1, very good, to 6, very bad.
Yeah.
And I told her I have a 1 in that, and she didn't believe. Took my notes, and it was really the one.
Of course.
So, and by then I started learning languages as well.
Okay.
Put a little bit more effort in that business, and that resulted after 6 years, I must say.
Okay.
In the high school.
Okay.
You go 9 years to high school, and I got pretty good in those. If I put some effort into the lections, I got pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay.
And after that, the county of the Black Forest decided to every year to send 2 pupils from the high school to Great Britain.
Right.
And in exchange came 2 pupils from Great Britain, Wales, from Wales, to the Black Forest.
Who set that up? Was
the county of the Black Forest.
Okay.
And they paid the traveling, and they paid the stay in Wales, the housing and things like that.
Right.
We went to school, so they selected only the better pupils in class, and finally I was one of those better pupils in class. And so I have been asked if I wanted to go to Great Britain for 3 months.
And you're 16 years old?
Yes,
Okay.
16 or 17 years.
So the director of the school
Yeah.
invites you to his office. Conrad, would you like to go to England for 3 months
Yes.
and practice your English?
3 months, yes.
Now, are you excited when you hear that news?
Yes, very excited.
So you run home, you tell mom and dad.
Yes,
What do they say?
they knew.
Oh, they already knew. Okay.
They already knew.
So the school called them.
Because they were very familiar with the teachers of that school.
Ah.
So they knew before.
They had inside information.
Private communication.
Yeah.
So, and that other guy,
Mhm.
together with me,
Do you remember his name? That's a good question.
maybe I.
Give you some time and it'll come to you.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
It's long ago.
That's okay.
It's long ago.
So okay, let's for our listeners, let's put this into context with what year is this that you take this opportunity?
Pardon?
What year is this when you go to Great Britain?
1964.
1964.
That was at the time when the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were well known in Great Britain.
Okay.
No?
Ah.
That time.
Okay. Did you fly?
No. Train. Train.
Yeah,
Of
that makes
course.
sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm thinking, how'd you get there? Okay, and then you took a ferry boat. Because the channel,
ferry, yes.
yeah, because the channel is not there.
No, of
Yeah.
course not.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
So we traveled by train to Hoek van Holland.
Did you go by yourselves? Just the two of you?
Pardon?
Did you only, just the two of you are traveling together, or is there somebody chaperoning?
No. We traveled on our own.
That's cool. 16 and going on your own.
And we had a cabin on the ship.
Okay.
The ship traveled from Hoek van Holland to Harwich in England.
Okay.
And then we traveled from Harwich by train to London.
Okay.
And when looking out of the windows of the train,
Yeah.
I said, that's really true. The hedges of the fields,
Yeah.
which were in our books, you know, how the people in Great Britain live.
Yeah.
And I said, that seems to be true.
Okay.
But written in those books, I remember that I bought in the train. There came somebody offering a coffee, and I bought a coffee and paid with a pound note, and he returned heaps of coins back.
So what does a coffee cost in 1964? Like 2 pence?
They had a very curious currency system.
Okay.
So they had the pound was divided by 20 shillings.
Okay.
And the shilling was divided by 12 pence.
Oh my goodness. And you gave him £1 for 1 cup of coffee.
Yes.
So you got.
I think, if I remember, it costed threepence. That means 3 pence.
Okay.
And you can't remember what you get back on that pound note.
So okay, that's another question. How much money did you take with you? Because you had already exchanged into pounds.
Yes, but not much.
Okay.
10 or 15 pounds.
Okay. And that's for the 3 months.
Yes.
Okay. Because you're going to live with a host family, right?
Yes.
They're going to provide the room and board, and the food and the shelter. Okay.
Yes.
And you go to school?
Yes.
For 3 months.
Yes.
Nice.
It was a small. First of all, it was an adventure to come. We had to change the railway station in London.
Okay.
So my comrade wanted to to go by taxi. And I said, no, we are not going to do so. We go by underground.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Cool.
So we bought a ticket for underground from one railway station to the next. My comrade was very anxious because the doors open and close quickly, and maybe he had feared that the doors cut us in pieces if we are not fast enough. But nevertheless, it worked.
Okay.
And we were impressed by the stairs. Have you been in London?
A long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That steep stairs, automatic stairs.
So coming from the underground back to the surface.
Yes.
Okay.
Or going down, which was impressive as well.
Okay.
And I think we used the Black Line, but I don't know.
Okay. It's okay.
And then we went by train to the final destination.
So how far is Wales from London? By train?
I think at least 3 hours.
Okay.
At that time.
Okay.
At that time.
But you saw London for the first time?
Yes.
That's so
awesome. We didn't see much.
Yeah.
We didn't see much. We left the train, went down to the underground, went to the next station, and went up from the underground.
It's so cool, though. It's really cool.
And it worked.
Wow.
And it worked.
Is your host family waiting for you at the train station in Wales?
No.
Okay.
The boss of the school was waiting at the station for us too. And I first tried to enter the car on the driver's side because I was not thinking that they are driving on the left-hand side.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but he was picking us up at the station and drove with us to the school.
So had you had correspondence, either like by post or by calling? Did he know what you guys look like? Did he have pictures?
I think I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't ask that.
He saw these two German kids coming out of the train station. Maybe that's them.
The right age. And
that's funny. Okay, so he meets you at the train station.
Yes.
What's next?
He went with us to school. And then my comrade was distributed to a family very close to the school.
Yeah.
And there was a pupil of that school, went with me quite far.
Okay.
Away by car.
Okay.
That guy had the driving license. So about my age.
Okay.
So he had a driving license. And
Interesting.
He came, I think, with a Mini or something like that.
Wow.
And drove with me to the station house of Bucknell. That is a very small village at the border between England and Wales.
Okay.
And the station master of Bucknell, that was my landlord.
That's your host family.
Yes.
The station master. Okay, so interesting. So he was the manager of the train station.
A small.
Okay.
A small.
And it was called Buckner. That was the name of
That's the name of the
train station
of the village.
Oh, that's the name of the village. Okay,
yes.
Interesting.
The station is named the same.
Okay. So, were you nervous for the first time meeting your host family?
No, not really.
Okay.
But of course, I started speaking English. Otherwise, they didn't speak a word of German.
Of course.
And if I wanted something or ask a question or something like that, I had to use English.
So could you communicate? Were you comfortable in communicating at that time, or?
Well, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there were some misunderstandings
Sure.
because I couldn't open whatsoever. I wanted to open a wardrobe,
Mm-hmm.
and I said I can't open the suitcase.
Okay.
And and they looked at me. Why does he want to open the suitcase? And finally, the guy got upstairs with me and said, "That's not a suitcase. That's a wardrobe."
Yeah.
And so you learn.
Yeah, see those little funny like instances like that, right? Like, yeah, can you help me open the suitcase? You can't open your own suitcase? That's a good memory, right?
Yes.
That's a good memory. Interesting. Okay, and
So first of all, I was impressed about the breakfast
okay.
because the breakfast at home in the breakfast, it was a piece of bread
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps some milk.
Mm-hmm.
And in England, you got ham and eggs.
Okay.
A very good breakfast. School was started later
Okay.
in the morning,
Uh-huh.
not at 8 o'clock
Uh-huh.
or 7:30
Mhm.
as in breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
but at 9. And we had to go by bus.
Okay.
So the bus arrived at the station house, picked us up,
Mm-hmm.
and drove with us to the school.
Perfect. Now, in your host family, like the kid who drove you home, was
Yeah.
he your host brother? Was he a part of that family?
Yes,
Okay. So how large was this family? Like how many kids did they have?
one.
Okay, just that kid.
Yes,
Okay. And you are about the same age?
yes.
Okay. Did you take his room?
Pardon?
Did you take his room, like the room in the house, or did he have his own room?
They first had a separate room
Mm-hmm.
for me,
Okay.
but some time later they asked me if I would mind moving to the room of my comrade,
Okay.
as we all were always sitting together,
Right.
and I didn't mind.
Okay.
So we were in the same room. It doesn't matter.
So this is interesting. Like that kid who was 16 years old, do you have good memories of that relationship, like host brother? I mean, we call host brother, host
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's the language that I'm using. Do you have good memories of that interaction with him for those 3 months?
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
That can be a little tricky. Like, who's this kid coming in for a couple of months? You know?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't think.
Okay.
I didn't feel something like that.
Good. Because
No.
So, are you in the same classes with your new host brother?
No.
Okay.
No. But I can't really remember to the class. What I remember is when I met my colleague from the Black Forest as well.
Right.
I asked him. He spoke to me in German. I said, "Let us speak in English
Yeah.
only." And
What did he say when you told him
he
that?
looked at me quite a little bit curious.
Yeah.
But that's what we did.
Yeah.
We spoke only English.
That's fantastic. For
And
3 months.
yes.
What kind of classes did you take in the school? Like, what subjects did you take?
Mathematics,
Uh-huh.
and then Latin,
Mm-hmm.
English, I think.
Mm-hmm. And did you see the difference in like teaching styles, or the resources that you had between like the English school or the German school? Was there many differences in how like lessons were taught, or subjects were taught, or
Well, it's a little bit curious.
Mhm.
For instance, if you learn mathematics in English,
Yeah.
if the teacher speaks English to you,
Right.
but it was not very difficult.
Okay,
What
good.
I was impressed,
Mhm.
they had much more sports than we
Okay.
in Germany. Much more. I learned playing cricket,
Okay.
which it was completely
you
unknown to me.
Yeah, of course. I don't even know I don't know the rules of cricket. Yeah.
I know them.
Yeah.
I still know them.
Okay. So, what other sports did you participate in?
I played cricket with the pupils.
Perfect.
And we learned playing tennis as well.
Very good.
Running. I learned running, or I started running over longer distances.
Okay. Okay.
At that time.
Nice. And did your host family on the weekends, did they take you places around the city or around the country? Did they introduce you to like maybe uncles or aunts? I mean, did they try to show you as much as they could in the short amount of time that you had?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
I got one of the employees of that station house. He hadn't had a son.
Okay.
And one day he asked me if I wanted to go with them to the seaside.
Perfect.
So, and they asked my landlords, and then we went to the coast.
Okay.
The Welsh coast.
Excellent.
No?
So that's on the eastern side, right?
Yes.
Okay.
On the west side.
On the western side.
On the Wales is located west. If you see from the south, it's located west.
Okay.
And the seaside is west as well.
Ah.
And then I saw huge castles, which had to protect which earlier had to protect the coast.
Okay.
And
interesting. Yeah. Was it like did they take you was it like a beach outing, like sand and ocean? Like when you went to the coast, was it like a beachy coast? Like did you guys like
I think it was beachy upper, but I can't really remember.
Okay.
And if you are swimming in the sea, I can't remember as well.
Okay. That's okay.
But it was beautiful.
But you had a good time, yeah. That's the most important thing.
It was beautiful.
That's nice.
And I'm very thankful to those people.
And it's good for those kids to invite you along. Like, I mean, not because you're a stranger, right? You're just a kid from Germany. Like,
actually, it was not long after the Germans had dropped bombs onto Great Britain,
Yep.
That was very, very good. And
that they invited you, yeah,
yes.
Of course. Because kids, they don't understand. Well, I don't know. Okay, maybe they do understand. I don't know. When I was a kid, when I was that age, 16, I mean, there's no way I would have... I don't know if I had a foreign student in my high school when I was like 15 or 16, I don't know if I would invite that guy. Oh, let's go out this weekend. I want to show you, I don't know if I would do that or not. Now, of course, I would do that.
Yes, of course.
But when I was 15, 16, I don't know anything.
Okay.
About anything. Yeah. Interesting.
But nevertheless, that not speaking German during these 3 months,
right?
I started thinking English.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, explain that.
So I dreamed English.
Ah.
Yes. So it was when following that 3 months, we went to London. That Hermann Fehrenbach was his name.
Okay.
That colleague.
Okay.
Hermann Fehrenbach. We went to London, and I had a cousin at London.
Okay.
Who was a correspondent of a couple of newspapers, German newspapers. He reported from London to those German newspapers.
Okay.
And he had invited us to stay a couple of days in London and to see the city as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I remember when I first met him, and he said "Guten Tag" to me, and I had difficulty. It was very difficult and strange to me to say "Guten Tag" to him. And I could. He started laughing, and he said, "This guy forgot to speak German."
Yeah, of course.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the discipline that it takes at 16, you and your friend, don't speak German, let's speak only English, right? I mean, that takes a lot of discipline. Yeah, you start dreaming in English.
Yes.
I mean, they say when you start dreaming in a foreign language that you're studying, you're really integrating, you're really immersing yourself into that language, right? That's awesome. Nice. So towards the end of your trip, you go see your cousin in London.
Yes.
You stay in London for 2 or 3 days?
Oh, yes.
Did you see all of the popular sites?
Yes.
Okay.
And of course, and my cousin of my father, actually, he took us to Cambridge, and I think he took us to Oxford as well.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So
interesting. I've been to Oxford. I know where that is. Cambridge? I don't think I've ever been to Cambridge.
Okay.
That's nice.
Much later, my wife worked in Oxford.
Okay.
During I was in my final examinations at university then. I asked her to leave Freiburg city. Maybe she perhaps she could work in England because I liked England very, very well.
Okay.
And she went to Oxford.
Wow.
And worked at the hospital of Oxford.
Are you serious?
Yes. And then, after I passed my examinations, I came to Oxford.
We just jumped ahead. We can jump ahead. Okay, let's. Okay, so let's. Should we jump that far? That's far.
Pardon?
We just skipped 8 years.
Yes. Okay.
You know what I mean? That's a fantastic story.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right. So you come back to Germany.
Yes.
You finish high school.
Yes.
And then where did you go to university?
Freiburg.
Okay.
That's located near the Rhine Valley. Towards France.
Okay. And let me back up one question away.
Yeah.
So when you came back from this 3-month cross-cultural experience, how did that impact at that time, how did it impact your life? Did you feel more confident about yourself? You just did this amazing experience, and it's scary at first. I mean, 16 years old.
Yes.
You had to be a little nervous, right? But did you come back more mature, more confident, more motivated? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Surely yes.
Okay.
Surely yes. No?
Okay. I mean, that's a big experience at 16,
It was beautiful.
The first time I left the country, I was 26.
Okay.
You were 16,
Yes. No, of course. It was not the first time we left Germany. We lived near France.
Right.
And we often went to France by car.
But without parents, without parents.
Without parents, yes.
Okay.
Without parents, yes. But my brothers and my sisters, they, we must go back a little bit in time. You have to learn a second language in German. And my parents thought it might be the best idea to learn Latin.
Okay.
Because I don't know why, perhaps that's something more difficult. The chances are better.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother realized that my father decided that I should learn Latin,
Mm-hmm.
but didn't care about pushing.
Okay.
No?
Okay.
And my mother said, okay, we do it once, but for my other brothers and sisters, they all learned French as a second language.
Ah.
Because you could exchange. The French people learn foreign languages as well.
Okay.
So we had all the time French guys in our house in Germany.
Okay.
And in the holidays, my brothers and my sisters, they went to France.
Ah. So these are just like...
There was an exchange.
Yeah, it was an exchange. Did you know the families that you were going to, like your brothers and sisters? Were they friends of your family?
I don't know how they arranged for them.
They just arranged it.
Yes.
Would they go for a long period of time, or like a weekend or a couple of weeks?
No, 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, 3 or 4 weeks. That's nice.
And the French guys, they were brilliant.
Nice.
So they were good.
Yeah.
You know, they're funny. It was all the time. There was life in our house. You know.
That's nice. But their goal was, or not their goal, but one of their goals was to learn some German.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. Do your brothers and sisters all speak French?
Yes.
Okay. Do you speak French?
A little bit.
Okay.
I can purchase things.
Okay.
But I'm much better in English, of course, and I couldn't improve my Latin, you know.
Okay.
The Vatican has no exchange program.
That's funny. I mean, Latin, I think it gives you a good base for learning languages.
Maybe.
Okay.
But I didn't want to study a language, you know. I wanted to study something technical, mathematical.